Thanks for joining Lead, Grow, Live. I'm really excited about our guest this week. His name is Joel Fruge, and he is the pharmacist, the owner of Acadiana Prescription Shop. You've probably heard the commercials where they say toot and scoot. It's really a unique thing. I want you to listen to how he talks about all of his experience leading up to owning and operating the Acadiana Prescription Shop. Here's Joel's episode. Joel Fruge, man, I'm so glad you came in today, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You know what nobody knows is we've been longtime friends, and I love what you do at Acadiana Prescription Shop.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, well, that's just it. You got to love what you're doing. That's for sure.
Amen. And that's kind of the theme of the day. Actually, you know, that might be the fastest light bulb moment there is. Because talk about that. The reality is we get into business or we get into occupational roles for a variety of reasons. Either we think we're really good at it or, you know, we think it'll make a lot of money and things like that. But if you don't love what you do, it's not going to last very long.
That's true. And maybe there is, I didn't love it as much as, well, I did. I did. I worked for people who owned their own business. So it led into it, I think. You know, getting out of school, I wouldn't have thought that this would have, so there is some luck involved with that.
So were you always interested in pharmacy?
Yes. Well, no. Just healthcare in general.
Yeah.
I had an uncle who had like 9 stores at one time, tied in with West Brothers Gibson's. Went all the way to Panama City Beach. He had a little Cessna, and he'd fly over there. And
that is cool.
Yeah, so I didn't think of that right away until later. I never worked for him. My first job when I was 15 was a delivery boy because I wanted to drive. And I got to drive the little Volkswagen car. And
yeah, we used to get our license at 15 back then.
Yeah, that's right, at 15. Yeah. I put that on its side one time. You know, I was in a hurry.
Hey, but you made it out. You're here.
That's right. Good.
So you ended up going to Northeast. It's UL Monroe today, but that was a huge pharmacy school at the time.
Right. And you know, that there were 2 in the state. At one time, there were 2 in the state, one in New Orleans. The other one's private school, but Xavier. Mm-hmm. This pass rate at Northeast back then, or ULM, it was 98, 99%, you know. Yeah. Kind of changed when I got in there. I passed, but I mean, it kind of changed when I got in there, but some great teachers over there.
Oh, yeah. I told you offline that I went to school my first year or 2 there, and I was in pre-pharmacy.
Oh, nice.
Little known fact.
Go ahead.
I was in pre-pharmacy for a semester.
I did not know.
There's no way. You know, all the sciences, I just couldn't do it.
I don't know if I was great at science. I was good at math.
Yeah.
Which we took a lot of math, but and we use it. I didn't know we'd use it. Physics, I thought it was a weeding out course, but we actually kind of use it in compounding and stuff like that. So,
sure. So I do kind of want to hear about how you got your start, as far as, you know, you got out of school, you're a certified pharmacist. What was your path to Acadiana Prescription Shop?
In school, I worked for an independent pharmacist. Okay. Olin was their name. They're originally the Olin Furniture. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed that. I had never, the delivery job I had, but I didn't spend a lot of time in the pharmacy. Came out and was working for K&B.
Oh, yeah.
Louisiana. He was based out of New Orleans.
Yep.
They got really big. I left there and did some hospital stuff at University Medical Center here, Charity Hospital, did some chemo stuff. Went to Texas with a pharmacy group that managed hospital pharmacies. Mm-hmm. I've done a little bit of everything. So
You really have?
I have. And so that management group lost that contract, not because of me, but got outbid. And I moved to their home office in Dallas for a while. Had a great time there doing home IV infusion.
Okay.
But that company started struggling. Maybe I'm bad luck, but anyway, and so I happened to call about my investment 401k thing at K&B. They put me through to the recruiter that hired me, and she apologized and was very nice to me. Came back to work in Jennings and Lafayette, and worked around the Acadiana area and some in Texas because I had that license there. And then went to work in Crowley for an independent pharmacist there, Ted Carmichael.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then I knew Mr. Phil Como, where he's the guy who owned Acadiana prescription shop before me.
Yeah.
And I worked at Northside Pharmacy a little bit, in addition to working back in the chain pharmacy for Winn-Dixie. Mr. Phil called me, and he got ill. He wanted me to have that opportunity. He did not want to sell his pharmacy to a chain and all of his customers.
Yep.
All he cared about was making them happy, which was a lesson in itself right away. And he died 3 months after I came to work there.
Kidding.
And so
you are bad luck. Jeez.
It was a quick learn, and luckily there in the oil center we had some great customers from Lafayette, all over Lafayette. Several North Lafayette, which I had serviced at Northside Pharmacy and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of got into it.
It's unbelievable. You talk about home health, hospitals, chain pharmacies,
Right. Nursing
independent
home.
pharmacy,
Yeah.
nursing homes. That's fascinating. And then you get this opportunity to come in, and I love that he called you.
Right.
And he says you deserve this opportunity. And I also love that he didn't want to sell out to a big chain, because the industry has changed completely. And I'm sure he and you could see the handwriting on the wall.
Right. I think, of course, he wanted it to work out for his family, which, maybe he was going to get better. He didn't know that. And it was like a 5-year type of work buying thing, which worked out good for me because I couldn't afford it at the time. We had kids and kids in elementary school. And as a matter of fact, my second born was born 3 days after I started there.
Goodness.
Yes.
It had to work.
I said, I have to have a couple of days off. My wife's having a baby. So,
exactly.
Yeah, Phil was great. When I went to interview with him, I'm going to make this as quick as possible, but I said, my wife asked me, what did he say? He liked to drink a few beers too. But anyway, so he had that. We had that kind of in common. He drove a old Rolls Royce car, and he also had like some other cars, like a Corvette convertible or something like that. Anyway, he enjoyed that. He was a musician. He had with several of the local musicians in Lafayette, and all the musicians would come to the store. They would come to the pharmacy, and I was like, thrilled with that. It was kind of cool.
Yeah,
but I played in a little high school rock and roll band. Like the hair was standing up. Oh, diabetes. I'm a diabetic. He was diabetic. The hair was kind of standing up on my arm. I was like, man, we got so much stuff in common. It's weird.
Yeah,
anyway,
no doubt.
But I've grown to understand. I grew to understand why he did what he did. And when he started, it was 24 hours. No, it was 7 days a week. He worked on Sunday. I like when people call me when they need something. They think that they're really, really bothering me, and I don't do a whole lot of stuff. But I mean, I have some hobbies, but it never happens enough. I guess if it happened enough, maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
I don't know. It's a good feeling, really, get to do that.
To be able to. And in fact, I've called you before. And one of the things I remember, I actually use you as a lesson when I'm coaching my clients about delegation and moving away from the day-to-day as much as you can, so you can do the entrepreneurial things you need to do and the company needs you to do. One day I had this Camille solution. It's a nasal spray.
Oh yeah.
And I know you do some compounding, and I called you or I texted you and said, hey, do y'all do this? Because I was having to look around. You were the first one I called, though. And you said, yeah. My staff will take good care of you.
Sorry about that.
No. I love it. That's what I teach.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think of like Gordon McKernan, I've known Gordon since first grade. We grew up together. He is on the billboards. He's on the radio. He's on TV.
Right.
He's not in the courtroom, you know what I mean? Because he's running a very, very large company now, and he has had to remove himself from that day to day. And he may be in trial all the time, but I doubt it. I think he's running the company and making decisions, and he has to have other people doing it. I kind of want to talk about your team and what you've put together, because you got a nice thing going.
Well, thank you. Yeah, some of what I tell people who compliment what we do, and we will be more upset if a customer's upset that we did not make them happy. I mean, and that's, my staff is like that. They know that I said, and it's something like if they did not kind of do what maybe I would have done, I asked them, I said, do you think I would have done that? And so you're free to do what I want. If it's a charity thing, you're not going to get fired over that. It's tell me you did. I said, well, that's awesome that you did that or whatever, so I want them to have that. They're very involved with our company. And some of the people that I hire who have been in the chain drugstore, the big boxes, and they're a valuable employee because they can see what we do. I mean, it's not just going punch the time clock. And I say that when I'm interviewing people. I say, these people, maybe they're weird. I don't know what it is, but they come to work, and I don't feel like they come in and say, "Oh, another day." I can't wait to punch out. And
no doubt about it.
And if they had somebody walking up when we're getting ready to close the doors, they're not going to lock that door.
Yeah.
If the phone's ringing, we had to try to tell ourselves, okay, we have an answer machine. Let the answer machine, after hours, so we don't just stay there. We're not 24 hours.
Yeah, it has to be a cutoff. But that's the thing, though, and I as a customer, when I walk in there, it feels like the pharmacy that when I was growing up is the one that we went to. Yeah. In Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
We went to Bajans. I don't know, you know what I mean? Nobody's heard of that anymore, but you could walk in, you could talk to the pharmacist,
sure,
and he or she would wait on you, I think his daughter came over, but it was about the same size as your store. Had a little retail storefront and a big counter, and you could see people working, right? But when you walk in, nobody seems like they're miserable. Some of these larger chains, I don't want to mention, it's a workshop.
Yeah. I've learned, you took the words out of my mouth. Like, I learned the good with the bad.
Yeah.
So the good, that one guy with Mr. Ted Carmichael, he said, we don't like to say no. There's some laws, and you got to say no.
Yeah,
and
sure.
he was definitely in the law. But I'm just saying that we can tell them where they could probably go and get the medicine that we don't have. We'll go to a 24-hour store, something like that. May have a little bit more stock than we do. We're known to kind of have it in stock. But I learned that from him. Try not to say no.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, and we'll get it. From another independent. I said, let me call this one guy because it seems like I talked to him and he had that product. Anyway, that, and then the bad, I worked with some older, maybe they needed to retire. They were getting ready to.
Yeah, the
and it seemed like
had evolved or something.
Yeah, and it seemed like sometimes when people walked in, and this was in the chain, of course, I don't want to cut them down too much, but that they kind of didn't want someone to bother them. I'm like, hey, man, if you don't have these people, that you're not going to have a job.
It's like, I know they write your paycheck. They get so big though, and they just think it's a hassle.
Right. I can't trade what I've learned, and that's why some of the people that I hire from different. I mean, of course, the ones who work for independent know that there's no job that's beneath you. You got to do everything here.
That's right.
There's no corporation. They're involved with inventory and pricing and of course, most of the insurance companies make our prices, but nowadays.
Sure. Yeah, I guess though, I always say that in order to attract the right people, you have to be attractive. And there's something very, very attractive about your shop. And I'm sure that pulls them in.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm interested in. You did all these different things, and it was all pharmacy, but it was in different places. Who has been the most influential person to you that has gotten you to where you are today?
I would probably have to say that it was Mr. Carmichael.
Got it.
Because he had a lot of employees there. He sold out, so I'm not plugging him now.
Yeah.
but he's got some great employees still. But anyway, he when somebody walked through that front door, and he had a bigger front end than my store. He had some chips out there, so we'd eat them all the time. But and they were, Jeff.
Yeah, he called
And it's
my
like,
name. Yeah.
how did you feel walking in there? He's hollering through all this space. There might be some other people here, too.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it is, he was doing well, only because he worked hard. He filled more prescriptions than all the other pharmacists.
Really?
Yeah, and he's supposed to be out spending the money he made or whatever.
Yeah.
He was sweating. He'd be sweating. I mean, I learned it, and I wanted to beat him. So all of us tried to do what he did, and I see that, and I do see that in other entrepreneurs like Champon's Grocery next door.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it just comes natural, I guess, when it's yours. But
and
my
what
people
you hit
do it
on
too.
Early is you got to love what you do.
That's right.
It's such a big deal, and it's sad when you don't, because you I don't know, you either get really, really good at it and you start to love it, or
Right.
you love it and then you get really good at it.
Well,
So,
Jeff, I'm still learning things to say. I learned all kinds of stuff since noon yesterday. I learned that you take the top off the cabbage pot so that it doesn't stink. I didn't know that. I learned that in the choir. A lady in choir told me that.
No kid. Yeah.
But I know that has nothing to do with this. But I'm just saying that they teach me, and I learn from them about I don't know how to coach and tell them every day. I just learned recently that this company, if you take care of this company will take care of you.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that really works. I mean, it's like
Another light bulb here.
they'll stay late, and you're going to get paid.
Yeah, sure.
And then, not only that, in the future, you're going to move up
Yeah,
for doing that.
that's right.
The ones who want to leave, or if it's lunchtime, okay, your lunch is at noon, and you don't go till, I don't really want you to go at 12:15 because other people got to go at 1, but you stayed because we were not caught up.
Yeah.
And those people who are walking in are doing us a favor, or calling in. When they walk in, their stuff is going to be ready. I don't know what happens everywhere else. Some places are filling more prescriptions than we are, but it seems like my staff doesn't want to stop until we can go and get us a water or a drink or something like that. So
No, it makes a big difference. And when you hear anybody describe anybody in like athletics, he's the first one to show up, he's the last one to leave, and he never stops until it's done. Right? You know what I mean? And that is what leaders notice, and that's what people notice in their leaders.
right.
Mr. Carmichael was a model for you, and you strive to be a model for your guys, and it's working.
Yeah.
I love what you said, though. If you take care of the company will take care of you. And what's weird about today, and I don't want to get into a complaint session about people today, but these cell phones have gotten us so distracted that we want to be anywhere but work. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's going on. You find out everything.
Yeah.
Who needs to know what's going on?
Well, I know. So your friends at the beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear you, but we have to do what we have to do. So I love that. Take care of the company, and the company will take care of you.
Yeah, and in more ways than one. I mean, if we benefit somehow by getting more people, if they get some bonus,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a guarantee.
Yeah, sure.
And if someone were ugly to a customer or something like that, where is that going to get you?
It's going to get you going. Yeah.
We got another day tomorrow, and what you don't know what these people are going through.
Yeah.
But we had a guy who he was just not very friendly. He had a big degree behind, and he had a lot of come to find out, he had cancer at that time. I think he was over the cancer, diabetes.
Yeah, he had a lot going on. Yeah.
And I mean, there's a name, and I don't want to use that, but now he loves coming over there, man, because we didn't crack. We didn't get mad.
You loved him where he was.
That's right.
And you understood that something else might be going on, And
that's not always the case because people come in. It's difficult to do that.
Well, anytime you deal with the public, it can be hard. It can be really hard. As far as growth, what have you done? All right, so one of the things that I love, and everybody needs to hear about this, if you haven't on the radio commercials, it's Toot and Scoot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When did you come up with that? And that's unique. I mean, you don't see that
it is
anywhere.
And during COVID, there's a lot of people who use that. Yeah. And it's not patented. It's some people used it. But I didn't come up with it. It was Phil, Mr. Como. And it was not Phil. As a matter of fact, I was getting the oil changed in my car at the mobile station over there, the last place that still fills up your car. Full service. Yeah. And I was waiting in that little booth of a service station. It's not very big. They got a vending machine, I think. And this girl was in there, and she said, I coined Toot and Scoot.
No kidding.
I worked for Mr. Como. And she's maybe a little bit older than I am.
Yeah.
And
but she deserves credit for that then.
Exactly. And she told me, she said, we call it Toot and Scoot, but toot your horn and we'll scoot out there. And let me tell you, that drive-through is fast. I mean, it's a little plug for the store, but my CPA told me, he said, you can advertise how fast it is and all that. There are people who depend on the big box drive-through to read their emails and their text messages. If you go too fast, they can't finish their email. They want it to be. They count on, this is going to take me at least 20 to 30 minutes. I'm like, wow, what are they doing in there? But anyway.
How do y'all know whose prescription it is? Do you know your customers so well that when they pull up and they toot, you bring it out?
Yeah, the girls in the front and in the back, for that matter, I envy them sometimes because of that. I told my wife, I said, well, we're going to have to bring Christina, my bank cashier, she's been there the longest.
Yeah.
I said, we're going to have to bring her to the weddings and the funerals and and then the other day I went to go get a tooth pulled and I didn't recognize someone. I said, you're going to have to come to get my tooth pulled with me now.
Exactly. Like, who is that right there?
Maybe I could have used it.
She just remembers everybody. Huh?
And for the most part, we all kind of do.
Yeah, y'all do.
And some of it is people with a chronic condition. And we know that we can start getting their medicine. They do that. They wow people, or we do. They come in and they'll pull you up. They might pull up, that's Jeff walking over here, and we pull up his thing and we see that it's time for him to fill this one. So it's probably likely the one he's going to get if it's like maybe 3 prescriptions.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll do it and they'll walk in. I say, they just say it's $2.99, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that is so
no
great.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we do that, we say, sorry for wait.
That's so great.
But I think that, independent pharmacy, it's struggling. And it's not necessarily, it's a long subject, but it's not necessarily just the big box that we're working against. It's further than that. It's big insurance companies and those kinds of things. We just had something in Louisiana, and Jeff, Governor Jeff Landry did wonderful for us to recognize that they were lobbying to try to continue cornering the markets, and so we've made some progress that way, which we're stuck in that box.
Yeah.
And for us to go and complain to the insurance commissioner or the whoever about kind of unfair trade practices and stuff like that, we don't have time to do it. We're taking care of our customers, and that comes first before anything.
Absolutely.
We get detailed by drug reps, which is great, to let us know about new products and things that are out there. But if there's a customer there, that's got to wait. And they recognize that, of course. They appreciate what we do. And it's just wonderful to be able to do that. It's like...
It is, and that's why you got into it. It's customer first.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, that's the beauty of your shop. It's customer first. And again, not to badmouth or talk about the big box stores and the retail chains. It can't be. in that they're paying so many people and they're having so many staffing issues.
Right.
So I love what you do. I appreciate the way you go about it, and I think if more people knew about it, that they would do it too.
That's right. The value is there for sure. It's wonderful.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
What is the biggest lesson you think you learned along the way throughout your career? The biggest game-changing kind of aha moment for yourself?
One lesson is I can't, Mr. Como started the store.
Yeah.
So, I can't take credit for, and it's in a good place, good area, all that. But when I first got in there, I was saying, whatever a person does, and I envy other people who are out there doing electricians or plumbing or because they're out there.
Yeah.
I am in that box, and I'm stuck in there. Sometimes when it rains, I go out and I stand in the rain. I'm like, this is so wonderful. But I do have it good because I am indoors in the air conditioning. But if you're going to do something, which I did have a pharmacist who wanted to do grass cutting, which I thought was awesome too.
It is, but
it depends on if you want to do it.
Yeah.
You've got to be, you can't just come and say, I'm going to own Acadiana prescription shop. I'm a electrician, but I own a pharmacy.
No, yeah.
It will not work. And it could make a lot of money. I've known some pharmacists who made a whole lot of money, and they worked extra hard and were risky and doing some investments. You can do a lot of different things, but I just thought I never knew that I would be able to make it work. And the only way that I made it work was to not say no, like Ted said, and to, I said not enough people call me after hours. Like I would go for Katrina. We did a lot for that.
Yeah. Serve as many as you can.
We were not that big. So that's me and one other guy maybe. And it felt so good.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to get those drugs paid for the state, which I understand. We were it was a tragedy,
sure.
But the feeling was just so good. And, my CPA helped me with that. And he said, look, in the scheme of things, you made it, you paid for it, and you made it through that. And I said, they still owe us a certain amount of money, which was, we could make it without that money, but we did get it.
Yeah.
And people cared about what we had done. They knew, some of the doctors. But anyway, those things are just, I can tell you the weirdest thing that's ever happened.
Let's hear it.
So it was for a hurricane here. I don't know if it was Katrina. We boarded up.
Uh-huh.
We had to board over the door, the glass door. So this guy called me and I said, listen, I've got to go home. The wind's picking up, I can't. And he said, yeah. He said, I said, listen, I've got some overlap in these boards. I'm going to stick your medicine behind these boards. And he came and got it. And he told me about it. He told me about it a year. I'll never forget what you did that time. I stuck it behind the board. And it wouldn't have hurt anybody to take that medication. I think
that particular medicine.
That's right. And nobody would have wanted to take that. It was for his heart or something, but important. But anyway, but to be able to do that was pretty cool,
Yeah, that is
the board
great.
of pharmacy. I hope that they don't really.
Yeah, no. If we need to edit that out. This is so great, and I appreciate it. And again, more than anything, I appreciate what y'all do over that store and how you serve your clients.
Yeah.
And, if there's anybody out there listening, just remember, all you have to do is drive up, toot, and they'll scoot it on out. So
Jeff, it's awesome. Without them, we wouldn't have anything to do over there.
Yeah,
so
right.
Our customers are very important to us.
You have said, and I don't know how many times I can hit this light bulb moment, but you have said some of the most important things are, without your customers, your business doesn't exist.
That's correct.
Your employees, you got to take care of the company so the company will take care of you, and then never say no.
Yeah.
And then come up with something to serve your customers as often as you can serve them. And that toot and scoot is in the world of pharmacy is so unique. I just love what you're doing. Taking the experience that you had, learning lessons along the way, what you like, what you don't like, and and old school pharmacy. You know, there's just nothing better.
We can continue doing it as long as we can. That's for sure.
Amen. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on Lead, Grow, Live. It was a great episode, and I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Never say no to your customers, your employees. Make sure that they take care of the company so you take care of them. I hope you take that into your companies and apply them like Joel and his team has. If you think you would be a great interview, I'd love you to come on. Just reach out to me at jeff@companygrowthacademy.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.